Hi everyone, welcome to Azure Every Day. My name is Brad Gall here with Pragmatic Works. Today we're going to talk about whether or not Azure SQL Database is the right fit for your data applications. So within Azure, we actually have a few options to run our SQL databases. We have Azure SQL Database, which we're going to talk about today. We have Azure SQL Data Warehouse, which is built for large-scale, big data, relational databases. And we could also just run our SQL on Azure SQL VMs, so SQL on Azure SQL VMs. We actually get some benefits just by doing that within Azure compared to running them on VMs either in VMware or Hyper-V. But today what we're going to talk about is Azure SQL Database and whether or not it's a good fit and what are some of the pros and cons to that. So first, let's talk about what Azure SQL Database is. Azure SQL Database is a platform as a service offering within Azure that basically gives you a Azure SQL database in the cloud that runs without you having to maintain your service. So when we talk about platform as a service, of course, we're talking about somewhat of a serverless infrastructure where all we have to worry about is the database. We're not going to worry about patching SQL servers. We're not going to worry about patching Windows servers. All that's handled for you by Microsoft in the backend. So from that perspective, it's a great option. We're lowering our maintenance costs and our maintenance time and those chores we have to do every week or month or whatever our patching schedules look like. Some other benefits we get from Azure SQL DB is that Microsoft is actually rolling out some new features within this product that we don't actually get within our usual SQL environments. So we get some things like, it's basically like a point and click geo-replication. So within the Azure portal, we can obviously script this out through PowerShell as well, but within the Azure portal, I can just do a few clicks, point my database to a secondary, and it'll set up automatic replication to that secondary database in another Azure region. So we're covered for things like maybe doing some reads from the West Coast when our office is in the East Coast. So we may have two offices and we can do reads from both with some lower latency. Or it covers us for DR scenarios where something catastrophic were to happen to the Azure data center on the East Coast. We would have it replicated to the West Coast. All of that is very simple to set up. We're not dealing with watching replication monitors or anything like that. Again, Microsoft handles all that for you in the background. We also get some things like backups are set up automatically for us and much easier to maintain. We get Index Tuning Advisor, which will actually monitor our workloads and suggest indexes for us that could help improve the performance of our Azure SQL database. All that comes just built into Azure SQL DB. Great features to look at and see if you can take advantage of them that may push you into using Azure SQL DB, so you get all those new features. Now, a few things that might hold you back from at least initially jumping to Azure SQL DB would be the fact that because we're not maintaining a server or a SQL instance, some of those features that are at that level of the SQL system, we don't have in our capabilities anymore. So things like link servers, we can't set up a link server anymore on Azure SQL DB. We wouldn't be able to set up some CLRs, so there's no CLR support there. And we don't have we don't have a SQL agent anymore. So anybody who's been working with SQL Server for any amount of time has come to know and love generally the SQL agent. We don't have that within Azure SQL DB. We just need to use something else like runbooks within Azure to schedule those jobs instead. So if you have a heavy reliance on that, maybe you're not going to be able to jump directly to Azure SQL DB right away, but it could be something in your future plans. So again, take a look at Azure SQL DB. Great option for certain scenarios. A few hiccups to watch out for. If you guys need any help kind of sorting through those gotchas and those pros and making sure you're taking advantage of everything you can within your Azure environment, definitely let us know. We'd love to talk to you. You can click the link below and we would talk to you then. Thanks. Bye.